Welcome to another episode of the Dope Podcast, where we display other people's experience, their expertise, and enhance your knowledge. My name is Dean M. Chambers, your host, and I created this platform to help people combat their fear of missing out on opportunities, and also a central place for you to ask your questions so they can get answered, and also a place where like-minded individuals come to get inspired. So today's topic of discussion is NFTs and crypto. NFT, I just heard about it recently this year through Instagram, through Gary Vee. And when he spoke about it, I had no clue what he was talking about. And months later, NFT is becoming one of the hottest topics out there. So I brought two guests on today to speak about NFTs and crypto, just to give people an idea of what both are, how to get into it, and what they should avoid when getting into this new space that we're coming into, right? So I'm gonna start off with letting people know, based off of the definition that I found for NFTs and crypto, and you guys jump in and let me know if there's anything else to add to it. But it's NFT, so also known as non-fungible token, and represents an online marketplace where digital collectibles and creation are bought and sold. Data that is stored and accounted for in a digital ledger, and that data represents something specific. And an NFT can be either a piece of art, music, album, and other types of digital files. What is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency that is secured by cryptography, which makes it nearly impossible to counterfeit or double spend. To me, that's kind of crazy, the fact that cryptocurrency is coming into a space of where paper money used to rule the world, and now things are changing. So, Justin, I'm going to start with you. Just talk about cryptocurrency as when you got into it. What was your reasons behind getting into cryptocurrency?
Thank you, Dean, again for having me on this podcast and sharing, the countless amount of years and experience that I've had in cryptocurrency and just the blockchain space. Appreciate you again. So crazy. This is actually dated back to 2016. As soon as I graduated from high school, one of my friends was actually, he was back in my business class. I can't even really remember his name. It was just a guy that you just walk into in your journey. And like, he was just like an interesting guy. He's more of like a coder type, one of those guys that were just always on this computer. And at first, he was actually really into like dark web surfing and different things like that. He was into like virtual private networks and all this IP stuff I just didn't understand at the time. And he was at school. He was in the library. He was actually on the dark web. And he actually said he was dealing with this cryptocurrency, and I never knew it at the time. Again, at 2016, early 2016, it wasn't worth too much. About a couple $100, a couple dozen dollars. I can't even remember what it was. But nonetheless, it was not really on the scene just yet, as mainstream as we are now. And he was just, surfing and just using his coin to buy items and different things like that, mystery boxes. It was really crazy stuff. He was doing this at a very young age. But that was my first introduction into cryptocurrency. It was it was this guy that was into dark web surfing and buying things and doing different things for that. So that was my first encounter. And his name is Brandon Crooks. That was his name. And he as soon as I graduated, I then got into a network marketing company that taught Forex. And then as the year in 2017 went on, as soon as I graduated, as soon as the year was going on, we just kept on hearing about this Bitcoin thing even more. My attention was starting to raise even more. Then Ethereum came onto the scene. And then, I was still kind of like, what is this? Like, how can we get into it? And then, there was this one price up there. I believe it was April. I actually remember checking on Coinbase. If you go on Coinbase right now, you can actually go see the charts as far back as as the inception of Coinbase, which is way back in 2017. The price had dropped down to 12 cents, right, into April of 2017. And then immediately shot up to about $3,000, literally within 24 hours. You guys can actually go on Coinbase right now, type on all. So for anybody that's listening, go on all, and then like go to the all time chart, and then go. You could move your mouse or your chart all the way to the time frame of 2017. It was around April something, and then it actually dipped as low as 12 cents. I remember seeing this low as 12 cents, and it shot up thousands of dollars. And that right there was my first, like, I didn't know it at the time, but that was market manipulation. I actually didn't know it at the time. But when that had occurred, I'm like, now I got to get into this. And I shouldn't have got into it when it was so high, when it got high at that point. But I said, this is something that I definitely just want to dive into. So my first introduction was just becoming an ICO investor. I invested into a couple of coins like Golem, Electronium, EOS. These are a lot of the ones that you can find on the coin market cap still. Some of them, like Golem, are not even top 100 anymore. But I started off as a pre-ICO investor. And I want, for Andre, sorry, his name's Andre, right?
Yeah.
Yep, Andre. That's kind of like my introduction into cryptocurrency. That's where it started. That's where it started. It was just a pre-ICO investor, and then that's because kind of how I was introduced. So by a guy that was doing dark web surfing, and then when I just seen this whole hype, Bitcoin, I just got in as a pre-ICO investor at first. But then I'll get into the origins and the reasons why Bitcoin and all these things are around today. And as you guys probably Andre knows, the people that created the hash function, the SHA-256 hash function, was the NSA. And I'm not trying to get all conspiracy theory on, guys, but it's a lot of information that I had to really talk to some really, 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 crazy people in the space about. So I'll share that. But yeah, that's kind of my introduction here.
Great. And Andre, so I know you recently got into the crypto market, even the NFT market. Can you share your experience so far as to what you have learned as you dived into this new space that we're
in? For sure. Definitely haven't been in the space as long as Justin has. He's been around for a while. He's doing you're getting things before they launch. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. But it's been more so recently, within the last let's say last year was. I've always been interested in the traditional stock markets, but just been doing my research when it comes to crypto and understanding that we're still very, very early when it comes to adoption. Less than 1% of the world really is into crypto. So this would just it doesn't really remind me of when the internet started. I was younger, but just doing my own research, I understand that we're still very, very early. So adopting the crypto right now is a very smart thing to do. And then just a lot of the technology behind all the blockchain companies, I understand that that's the way we're going towards the future when it comes to the NFTs, when it comes to DeFi. DeFi especially is this, I personally believe it's going to replace the banks, because the gains you get you can't match it. It's just totally different. So the crypto space is still very new, but at the same time, it's something that everybody needs to get into, because it's going to change things moving forward. A lot of the major companies are now on the blockchain. They're buying crypto. They're holding crypto on their balance sheets because they know that, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, for example, a lot of them are going to be great hedges against inflation, which is happening right now. So that's pretty much my experience, but I'm still pretty new into it, but I'm learning a lot every day. And it's just, there's so much information. It's vastly changing. And the adoption is growing. A lot more companies are getting into it. A lot of different things are happening, sports, entertainment. So as the adoption grows, you'll see that the price of these coins go up, because the on-chain metrics are just a lot more. People are using them for a lot more things. So yeah, that's my experience.
I find that with crypto coming into the space, as you mentioned, DeFi, so decentralization of money. I keep hearing this like through videos and just people talking that this is one of the biggest the biggest transfers of wealth during this pandemic. And I feel like cryptocurrency is like that, what a lot of people are sleeping on. Like a lot of people are they're skeptical about it because they don't know about it, right? So I feel like the biggest transfer of wealth is going to happen through cryptocurrency, and it's going to happen right before people's eyes. And by the time they get into this space, they're going to miss out on that opportunity, which leads to FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. So it's great that we're here to talk about this so that people can be more educated on this topic. And to jump into NFTs, or to give people an idea, NFTs. So Justin introduced me to, or he showed me that music can be an NFT. And through music, Tory Lanez literally just launched his album where you could purchase it for $1 and then have access to that album. And somebody asked the question about how do you sell an NFT? And isn't that, they said, isn't that the code that Tory Lanez broke for albums? So Justin, I'll let you speak to that since you have a vast knowledge on the NFT market.
Yeah, so specifically on this Tory Lanez album, what I think about it, I have a little, like a lot of people are saying, you know, it's not going to sell for much, you know, different things like that. A lot of people have a lot of opinions about everything. But one of my mentors told me, you know, he's like, you know, everyone for one has an opinion, and those opinions are not facts. Like everyone has an opinion about something, but don't misconstrue that for facts. It's literally just an opinion. So my personal opinion on the Tory Lanez album, I think it's honestly, it's ginormous. This is a ginormous opportunity for him and for people that got this. You purchase an NFT at $1, and now he has a primary marketplace right now on E-NFT. And I'm gonna just let you guys know, as of right now, E-NFT, if you guys go on e-nft.com, again, for the audience, right now, there is no secondary marketplace for you to purchase anywhere else but E-NFT. So for this NFT right now, there's already a scarcity, but then people need to ask, okay, but who's buying at these prices? Because it's over 1 million copies right now. But what people need to realize is that the dust needs to settle with this one album. No matter how you slice it, no matter how you want to put it, in the cosmos, in the ether, in the universe, this is the first NFT album of all time. Think about that.
Yep.
This is the first NFT album of all time. Let's get very real with this situation right here. No other artist as big as Tory Lanez, who's an A-list celebrity right now, has done this. And this is not hype. This is just me looking at all the odds without any type of emotion to it. That's why I got several hundred. And at first, one of my guys called me the other day. He's like, "Yo, I can't even sell this for $2." I said, "You're not seeing the bigger picture to this. You're not seeing it." And what you need to understand is this one art piece, Fidenza, that was bought, you know, the first when it was minted and created, it was launched at $1,300. 3 months later is 3.3 million. Again, with this one Tory Lanez album, guys, listeners that are listening to this, this is an album that has artwork attached to these songs. Again, and this album will not get streamed anywhere else but this platform and the secondary marketplace in which it launches. And E-NFT is actually still in this beta testing. If you go look on the top left corner and you look very closely, it says beta. It's not even complete yet. So this hasn't even matured as we may think just yet. So people so your question, so I'm gonna answer you right now. Dean, is how my mind works sometimes. To sell this NFT, you're gonna have to really wait until the secondary marketplace launches. It's on the site, you can see it. You're gonna have to wait till the secondary marketplace launches, so it creates a floor price. A floor price, which would mean what would one NFT be? What would one NFT album be averaged at? It could be 1 Ethereum, it could be 0.50 ETH, but right now on this primary marketplace, E-NFT, okay, everyone is listing their prices at different prices. You're gonna see one for 60,000. You're gonna see one for 1,000. You're gonna see one for 5,000. You're gonna see one for 500. There is no floor price that has been created just yet with this, and the APIs. I'm just gonna not use that word. The wallets that they connected to for E-NFT, the external wallets, was Polygon, and the Poly network. The Poly network, I'm not even sure it was Polygon, was just hacked. I'm not even sure. I haven't even looked into Polygon Matic just yet. That's actually not even one of the projects I'm looking at, but one of the Poly networks was just hacked for 350 million, and they just got back their assets. I'm not too sure if you guys heard about that story.
Yeah, they got it back because the hacker wanted to teach them a lesson or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not too sure if that was from the Polygon Matic or if it was Poly network. I'm not
I
too
think
sure.
I think it was the Poly network, because the Polygon Matic is a layer 2 Ethereum blockchain.
Yes, yeah. So it was a different
Matic.
network. So
yeah.
So that I only use for when I store my NFTs is MetaMask, and I would advise everyone to create a MetaMask wallet. It's like a Fox. So for those who are, for the audience that is getting into NFTs, definitely download MetaMask. It's like a Fox on there, and then you can actually store your NFTs there. So as of right now, I'm just storing the albums that I have on the actual dashboard until they make their AlphaNet, and they're ready to completely launch with the secondary marketplace. So that's kind of what I wanted to say about that.
So, question for you. You mentioned wallet. So a lot of probably listeners right now are saying, "What the hell is a wallet?" So either of you guys, can you answer that? What is a wallet, or what does it do?
Gotcha.
And how do you set up a wallet too, right?
If you want to go ahead, Andre, I can go after you.
So there's a few different types of wallets. Like there's a MetaMask, like what Justin was saying before. There's a MetaMask wallet. That's like your decentralized wallet where you can swap tokens with Uniswap or SundaySwap or any of those decentralized exchanges. Then there's also centralized wallets like a Coinbase, KuCoin, Gate.io, Crypto.com. There's so many now.
Gate.io, Andre, is actually a decentralized exchange.
Okay, so that's a different one. So so there's differences between centralized and decentralized wallets, but those are some of the examples. On the centralized wallets, you just go on, buy your coins, exchange your fiat for crypto, and then you just have all your crypto in your centralized wallet. You can some of the centralized wallets, you can take them off, which is what's recommended. Take it off to like a MetaMask wallet or a hard ledger wallet like a Nano Ledger.
So essentially, it's a digital wallet to carry your money in.
To have your crypto, yes. To store your crypto, yes.
So you could either be digital on a computer or hard
ledger wallet,
a ledger. So almost like it looks like a USB key.
It is basically, yes.
Yeah. So so what's the purpose of having these wallets?
For one is ownership, especially for Ledger and MetaMask. One of my mentors in Nigeria, multi-billionaire cryptocurrency investor, said, if you don't own your keys, you don't own the cheese.
On your crypto, yeah, facts. not your keys, not your keys, not your coins. Not your keys, not your coins. Same thing, yeah.
Yeah, so if you don't own the keys, you don't own the cheese. So technically, let's just say this, okay? If I had over $1 million for one on Binance right now, for one, I would need to fill out a lengthy KYC process, and it's actually getting squeezed by the day as we live here in Ontario. I'm not going to talk about how our government operates. It's not what we're here for, but let's just say everything is getting squeezed within the cryptocurrency marketplace here in Ontario and then soon to be Canada. So Binance, as of December 31st, you won't be able to use it. Be banned here in Ontario for those who live here. So you guys know. But let's just say I had over $1 million of assets on Binance. And then let's just say Binance now gets compromised. Let's just say their backend, which we had before, but now Binance is one of the best cybersecurity in terms of anti-phishing, They actually have like a whole bunch of two-factor authenticators now. Like you can't do anything on Binance.
Hello?
Maybe chipped out there for a second.
Yeah. Justin, you just cut out.
Yeah, he's basically speaking to, yeah, I know what he's saying. He's speaking to regulations in terms of just a lot of the crypto exchanges. The governments are clamping down on them because they understand that, well, they say, you know, a lot of people can be doing money laundering. They really don't know who has what. So they just want to regulate it and clamp down on it and be able to put more rules in place when it comes to the crypto wallets and the crypto exchanges.
Sounds like Canada, whether it's Forex or it's crypto, Canada's always trying to just get a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Everything. Can you guys hear me now? Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly, Andre, and exactly, Dean. We are probably in the most very, very socialist. We're very socialist. Got to have their hands in everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We got to tax high and give the people this average. You got to give the people what they would need. You know, just above what they need. You know,
that's it. That's it. Yeah, just keep them afloat.
And what's funny
just
is
above what they need.
That what you guys brought up was so key. The fact that the decentralized and centralized. A lot of people don't even know what that means, right? So if you guys could speak to that, and also with the relations of purchasing on one of the blockchains versus purchasing for like CoinSquare or Wealthsimple, because when I found out the difference, I was like, oh, I never knew that. And a lot of people are doing this thinking that they actually own
that they're winning. Yeah, like you don't, you know, for the listeners, you definitely, yes, you can purchase your crypto assets on a Wealthsimple, on whatever it might be, but you don't own it. You're only getting the gains off of the run up of the coin. That's it. You don't own the coin like if you had it on a MetaMask wallet or on another exchange. So there's a big difference. You want to, as you were saying before, not your keys, not your cheese, not your keys, not your coins. Same thing. So you don't really want to be investing your crypto on. You don't want to be investing with Wealthsimple to buy a crypto. You'd really rather get on a decentralized exchange where you actually own it.
Yeah. So just what's the difference between decentralized and centralized?
Okay, so if we actually just think about centralized right now, our whole society is centralized. And our whole society has
banking system, everything. Yes,
yeah, everything. Our media is centralized. A couple corporations own our media. Like everything that we see, our whole perception of reality can be diluted because of we're only getting a certain message from a certain group. So centralized just means an entity controls everything. So if I go to my bank, for the audience listening, if I go to a TD, okay, and I make a wire transfer, or I make a email transfer, or I deposit money, that money gets deposited into my bank ledger, and they can track that transaction. And if I send that money out, they can track that transaction. If I spend that money is now being shown on my bank ledger. You can see that transaction being done. So that is a centralized entity because they can track everything. They can do anything they want, anything. They could, so a centralized entity is just an entity that is in control of whatever it may be. And decentralized is just the opposite of that. Is just something where the people are essentially in control of peer-to-peer networks. You're off the grid. You're not in
middleman.
There is no middleman. There is no. I'm just trying to talk in the most lamest terms that I can.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Because because I've been talking with my crypto guys for so long, the jargon can get so intense, and no one outside will understand me. Like, what are you talking about? So I actually have to talk with real life terms and orate it a certain way where people would understand. But yeah, so there is no middleman, guys. You're completely off the grid. And I have to ask you guys a question for those who are going to be listening to this podcast. We're trying so hard to integrate our society to a decentralized way of life. Again, Andre was talking about DeFi, which is I was actually one of my dues for crypto. You got to get inside a couple of DeFi protocols. We're going to give you some tips and tricks about that, but DeFi is going to change the game. But when I hear now people asking me, hey, how are you going to pay taxes on your crypto? I said, why would you go take a decentralized currency, a cryptocurrency, and then bring it back to the same people who you don't want in control of this money? Like, think about it.
Doesn't make sense.
Why would I allow somebody to tax my Bitcoin? It's a decentralized currency. That is just like, it's just so contradictory. I can't even really wrap my head around the idea of paying the government tax money from my cryptocurrency, which is off the grid. Like, you see how they're trying to do this game. So, you know, decentralized, again, guys, is just you being off the grid. There's no centralized control. Again, there's no entity that's controlling your money. It's completely yours. Centralized is, you know, an entity or anything that controls the money and can track that and different things like that. So that's just the difference.
Yeah. Now I'll also speak to just, you know, centralization and decentralization. I was speaking to Dean a couple of days ago, just in terms of decentralized social media that's going to come, because we're already seeing that Facebook, Instagram, all the social media sites that we use now every day are all centralized and very, very much so scrutinized. And they're not free. You can't really say what you want. Once a lot of social media tokens are going to be coming out, and there's going to be a lot of decentralized social media where you're able to say what you want, put up what you want, play what you want, post anything you want. So as I was telling Dean before too, you know, the future is going to be decentralized. It's not, people want to be able to do what they want autonomously and with no repercussions and with nobody in their pocket per se. So that's definitely coming.
Most definitely. And also, it brings me to my next question for both of you guys. People that want to get into this space, whether it be crypto or NFT, what would you recommend the steps be to get involved in this new era that we're in right now? Either one can answer.
Educate yourself.
Say that again, dude. Sorry, say that again. I'm sorry, you kind of tripped up.
What advice would you offer to somebody that wants to get into the space of whether it be NFTs or cryptocurrency in getting started?
Stop following these psyops and their decisions. Stop following Elon Musk. Stop following like the Mark Cubans. Like stop following these billionaires that you think are here to help you. They don't give a damn if you live or die. And like, it sucks that it's the truth. And this is why people don't really like my opinion, because I'm so truthful. And like, the truth can obviously hurt. But like, Elon Musk doesn't give a shit about you. Mark Cuban doesn't give a shit about you. Their opinions on this crypto game are not in your best interest. Like, guys, if Elon Musk really, you know, was for you, then why don't you just tell him why did we sign a petition, and why wouldn't he pass it for like, hey, how about you just accept Dogecoin for your cars? You know what I'm saying? How about you just accept Dogecoin for your Teslas? Of course he wouldn't do that, because he knows there's nothing.
There's nothing behind Dogecoin. Exactly, it's not backed. Doesn't make sense. He would never take that. So
he would never do that.
He just probably he's probably a Dogecoin whale, so he understands that, hey, if I can move the market with some of my tweets, I'm going to. It's going to shoot up a certain amount of points. I'm going to take it out. It's going to drop down. It's just a game they're playing to line their pockets.
Yes, and correct. So he can actually keep buying in the back end Ethereum,
yep.
the real
Bitcoin,
exactly.
Exactly.
So it's just the biggest stop. Like, my biggest advice would be stop listening to these psyops. Find people in your community who are really knowledgeable and educated about this. That would be my first thing, is just find a decent mentor. I'd say even go on YouTube, look at guys like BitBoy. I think he's one of the better real ones on YouTube.
Yeah, I watch BitBoy's good. Yeah.
Yeah, BitBoy's. He actually even tells you when to take profit. I think he's one of the better crypto mentors in the entire space, in terms of like guys who are just talking that truth.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of other guys like Anthony Papagiano, you got Michael Saylor, a whole bunch of different guys. But all these guys always sometimes have contradictory statements. So I try to say, just try and find people who you know in the physical that can educate you about this, and seek proper mentors that can give you in-depth knowledge. That would be my first tip. What about yourself, Andre?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's more so about just education. It's just like the stock market, you know, you're going to start with what you're willing to lose, and just educate yourself. Don't just listen to other people. Really take the time, sit down a couple hours a week and educate yourself before you, really go knee deep. But I would say, don't wait too long, even though the crypto market is still pretty much in its infancy. it's not going to be like this forever. A lot of the assets are going to be unattainable for a lot of people in the short future. So don't wait too long. If you have to dollar cost average in, but just get in the space somehow, because as Dean was saying, crypto is going to be the huge wealth transfer, and it's happening right in front of our eyes. And it's happening because a lot of people are ignorant to new technologies and not wanting to change. So don't let it pass you by. Educate yourself first before you step in.
Yep. Also, a question somebody asked. It's one of those questions I don't like, but I'm going to still ask it anyways. Somebody said Ethereum and Bitcoin. What are some other suggestions of coins to get into?
I'll just say two. I'll just say two others right now. There's a lot. There's like 100 coins, 100 new coins a day. There's like over 11,000 coins, I think, on coin.
I want to touch up on that before you go on, Andre.
Yeah.
95% of the market is not real. That's all I gotta say.
Exactly.
95% of coins are not real.
They're shit coins. They're trash. They're not backed by anything. They've been created to take your money and then just rug pull, and there you go. Like you're left holding your bag. Nothing's gonna happen.
And this guys, there was. We're now at 10,000 coins, right? If you go on CoinMarketCap, for those who are listening, CoinMarketCap is kind of like the NASDAQ of cryptocurrency. Yep. You'll be able to see all the coins, all the prices, all the market caps, different things like that, 24-hour volume, all that crazy stuff.
Everything.
You look in the top left corner, you'll see how much cryptocurrencies there are in the space. So it's roughly around like 11,000, I think, right now. Okay. Yeah. So now let's check this out. 2017, when we looked, it was about half of that. Okay, half of that 10,000. That's how much there was in 2017. More than half are no longer even in existence anymore. More like you don't even hear about them. Over 90% have, like, from 2017 are not here today. Over 90% of that 5,000 are not here today, and they're creating more obviously as we go along. But guys, the market is a whole bunch of bogus, a whole bunch of, like, if you really understand, if you're really in the know, you know that crypto, like, there's only a select few. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. There's a few. I'd say, so the question was, aside from Bitcoin and Ethereum, what other coins would you be interested in? And it's all about the use case and what they do and what they're going to do. Right now, I would say a big one would be ADA, which is Cardano. And then another one for me personally, I'm not a financial advisor, but another one definitely for me would probably be Polygon, because as Ethereum moves, Polygon moves. Polygon is a layer 2 solution under Ethereum. So when Ethereum gets crazy, over congested, people move on to the Polygon blockchain and do the same thing.
What's the current price of Polygon? What's the current price?
It's like $1. It's like $2 right now, I think. So it's still pretty early. And those are the two I would say right now. There's so much more, and for many other reasons, but those are two that I would say. And another one I'll throw in there would be VeChain, because VeChain is still has a great use case, and it's around 17 cents right now. Do your research on all of those ones I just said, but
yeah. For myself, I'm not a financial advisor. That's a perfect statement. But I also, this is not invested interest. I just connected with this individual via LinkedIn. He's a great individual, and I really do believe in what he's building. Gavin Wood, the CEO of Polkadot. Polkadot is going to be a very big player in this space within the next 3 to 5 years. And they're not just one project. They have a lot of infrastructures built now with these NFT marketplaces that we actually know of today. One being Bondly, and a few others. They're also creating something called Polkadex, which is like a fully
exchange.
Like a fully capable and very good UI, UX, user interface, decentralized exchange. And they have Polka City, Polka Ventures, and those are all different things that that one Polkadot network is solving. Polkadot is one of my big top it's one of my biggest in my portfolios right now. So Polkadot is definitely that coin. And then my second one would be either Solana, because their transactions per second is actually faster than Cardano and Ethereum. No one actually knows that. And they actually just reached an all-time high, which I wouldn't advise getting into it now. Just wait for a retracement. But Solana is another PPOS, proof of stake network, which is really, really good. And then Solana and Chainlink. Yeah, that would be
Nice. Yeah, Solana is a great blockchain, doing amazing things right now. I do have that. It's been running crazy for the last month and a half. It's nuts right now.
Question for you guys. You guys mentioned not backed by anything or use case. For those that don't know, what do you mean by use case when it comes to a cryptocurrency, or it's not backed by anything?
So for example, Ethereum has right now in the crypto asset space, Ethereum is the giant when it comes to use case, I would say. Everything new, a lot of things that we know of are being built on the Ethereum blockchain. A lot of the DeFi protocols, the main ones, a lot of the main NFT sites, and they've also introduced their hard fork, which is a burning mechanism every single time a transaction happens. So right now it's super deflationary. So there's a lot of things happening on their blockchain, which makes their system, their company, their business just flourish. And it's still just kind of starting. For example, Bitcoin doesn't really have much use case. It's just a store of value more so. I do read things about Bitcoin every so often that they are trying to do a lot more. But as of right now, that's pretty much what they do. Solana kind of does the same thing. Solana does kind of the same thing as Ethereum, but with faster transactions, as Justin was saying. And so does Cardano. They're also coming with dApps, which are decentralized apps, their own DEX, NFT market spaces, same thing. But they basically have the use. They're not just a token or coin. They have a business behind it. For example, we're talking about Dogecoin. It's just a coin. There is an infinite amount. So eventually it's going to zero. There's no business behind it.
Interesting. Another question I had is, are you guys in trading these coins, or do you invest in these coins?
Auto.
I do non-leverage trading on Exodus. I actually just swap. Actually, now I'm in the because I have trading knowledge. So I don't trade on Binance or any of those for many reasons, and I don't think I definitely will. Anybody that has questions, I'll definitely answer those people personally in the near future. But I usually now just if I'm in a coin, I usually just swap it into USDC or USDT. And that's just non-leverage trading. And I also leverage trade on MetaTrader 4, which is not technically trading cryptos, but you're trading the price, which is for Forex, and that's a different conversation. But so I do those type of trading. But for the main purpose, I do hold. I do just hold. I do hold and then swap out whenever. I never, again, for when you guys invest, try and never get your emotions ahead of you. The best traders in the world, the best investors in the world have a lot of emotional discipline. It has nothing to do with when you get inside a coin. Actually does. You obviously don't want to get in high, but you gotta be able to maintain those emotions. When you see your money get high, take some profit, right? You never go broke taking profit. I think that's one of the biggest pieces of advice I'll give. Just know when to swap half of your portfolio into a stable coin to then come back in. Crypto's a waiting game, and it's going to be here for a very long time. You got to know when to play these market cycles to your best benefit. So for the most part, I do hold, but that's kind of in the back end. I do some a non-leverage trading on Exodus wallet. For those who don't know, that's another decentralized wallet. But I think they're one of the better user interfaces. And then we got
leverage trading on MetaTrader 4, but that's more for Forex, and I'm just trading the price fluctuations.
Price fluctuations on Forex or for the MetaTrader are crazy. Like the gap between the buy and sell is huge, but that moves like 10 times faster than Forex does. So you got to be careful with that one too. Also, a lot of people think that this is kind of like a place where you can just do transactions at no cost. But what are some of the fees that people should be aware of when either buying and selling crypto, or even as for me, for instance, I try to create my own NFT, and then when I got finished, they told me there's gas fees, and I was like, what the hell is gas fees? Like, I was like, this is digital. Like, why am I paying gas fees to turn this into an NFT for me to put on the market? So what are some fees that are associated when buying and selling crypto or even trading it?
Well, the gas fees are involved on the Ethereum network. So for example, you were trying to mint an NFT on OpenSea, basically that's your fee to get it done. On the Ethereum network, somebody's going to complete that transaction. Depending on how busy, how slow the network is, fees go up and down based on the load. So on the Ethereum network, they're called GWEI, GWEI, I think. And that's basically the fee you pay depending on how busy the blockchain is to get your transaction done. And sometimes it's cheaper, sometimes it's expensive. Like sometimes it can be more expensive than what you're trying to do.
And also why it's, why there's, gas fee. Andre touched up on it. What people don't know is Ethereum lets off a lot of computing power and carbon emissions. It's actually I'm not going to say a lot of you. I'm not going to sit here and say Ethereum is good for our environment, because it's actually not. Yeah. The higher the gas fees, that means like the higher the mining computing power, let's just say, for those who are trying to understand, at that time was. So yeah, let's just say at that time the process, how should I say this, Andre? In the most simplest way possible. So at certain times you can have gas fees that are legit upwards of like 70, 100, even thousands of dollars at a time. But then sometimes you get a trade going for like $4, right? Yep. It literally depends on the time of day, and again, how slow or fast the network is, market fluctuations, a whole bunch of different things. How much people are actually computing and processing Ethereum orders. It's a whole bunch of variables. But when you pay higher gas fees, let's just say the mining or / computing for that Ethereum transaction, if it's higher, that means it's
takes more power.
Yeah, it takes more power to just create that transaction type thing. And again, for those who are also listening, if you want to track your transactions on Etherscan, let's say, not on Etherscan. If you want to track a transaction that you sent in Ethereum to somebody, you can track that on Etherscan, which is like, it gives you the transaction times, it gives you all the confirmations, the different things like that. So yeah, that would be
that on CoinMarketCap as well. Is that the site for the to track the transactions?
No, CoinMarketCap only tells you the metrics in terms of like the 24-hour volume, what Ethereum is being traded at that day. The markets, the exchanges that Ethereum is being listed on. Like, there's nothing about like tracking your transaction. I don't think, is there?
Yeah, there's a site. I can't remember what it is, but I know there's a site you can track when you send money from one wallet to another wallet.
Yeah, I know for sure it's Etherscan.
Okay.
Yeah, I know for sure.
No, I can't remember the name.
There's other ones, but Etherscan is the most prominent.
Yeah, there's a few that where you can find out what you sent.
One of the main ones is Etherscan, though. Yeah.
I should have asked this question in the beginning, but I'll ask it now. What is blockchain in whole? Like, because a lot of people say blockchain, or a lot of people say cryptocurrency, but I feel blockchain is the bigger beast of the two. So what is blockchain?
Justin's gonna have to take this one. I'm still figuring out myself.
Got you. All right, guys. So okay, so blockchain, there's several different types of blockchains. There's hyperledger blockchains, there is open source blockchains, there's a whole bunch. But all it is, guys, is just a ledger of transactions. If you guys go on Google right now, all blockchain is just a ledger of transactions, and it can be these transactions can be stored on a central, which is more so hyperledger, and an open source is more so decentralized ledger of transactions. So on open source, the people that make the decisions or the confirmations, let's just say, is the peers. It's the people. On the hyperledger, more so something that's more centralized, it's more so the entity. So you do have centralized blockchains and you do have decentralized blockchains. But let's just say blockchain in retrospect is just a ledger of transactions. Yeah, that's all blockchain really is. That's actually all it is.
Quick question: could you just give an example of a decentralized blockchain and a centralized blockchain? I think I know, but I just want to be sure.
A decentralized blockchain and also proof of stake network would be Cardano, which which that one would allow you to when we say proof of stake, the proof of stake allows you to identify and to be activated on that blockchain once you stake the actual Cardano token. So that's why it's a proof of stake. So how you get identified that you're actually using this ledger on Cardano is the staking method for Cardano. So that's one of the more decentralized ledgers. That one's more of an open source. Something that's more centralized. Let's think of something like a Binance Smart Chain.
Okay. And then because the entity obviously they're making decisions also. Yeah.
Yeah. So Binance Smart Chain is a more so hyperledger. Binance can edit it. In order for you to use Binance Smart Chain, their ledger, you actually need to do let's say you need to you're launching an ICO. You want to be cross-chain integrated with Binance Smart Chain. You would need to do a leasing agreement with them to use their Binance coin. So it's actually not that easy to use Binance Smart Chain. So yeah, they're more so a centralized blockchain. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So a ledger of transactions is the overall definition of blockchain.
So what advice would both of you guys, Andre, I'll let you start and then Justin take over. What advice would you give to someone as your do's and don'ts? Like you can do your top 3 do's and don'ts when getting into the crypto space or
don't
market.
Don't FOMO into the top. For example, Solana is hitting all-time highs right now. A lot of people will want to get in because they never got in before, but there will be a correction. It will drop back. Do your research, and try not to FOMO into the top of the coins. That's definitely a don't. A do is maybe find out about 3 or 4 coins that you might be interested in, research them, read the white paper, meaning what they do, their business behind it, and then slowly, invest what you're willing to lose. That'll be my one do and my one don't.
Yeah, so on my list here. I heard. Okay. My first don't, for many reasons, and those who want to argue with me, we will go and debate this till kingdom come. Whoever wants. I'm actually gonna drop my my Instagram here. For anybody who wants to DM me, send me voice notes. I'm always engaging with my network at all times. I will always be answering people and answering as transparently as I can, as well as some proof and some receipts that I got from being inside this industry for quite some time. So I'm actually just gonna drop my Instagram right in there. Don't buy from centralized exchanges. And I'm not gonna give my reasoning just yet, but don't buy from your Coinbases. Stop buying from your Binances. Stop buying from your Wealthsimples. Stop buying from your coin squares and different shit. Like the only one is if you're trying to liquidate money, but don't do it in excessive amounts, because again, tax purposes is shake pay. If you're going to use that to get money out because you need it, go ahead by all means. But don't buy from centralized exchanges. And I have a whole bunch of reasons why going into the near future, why they're gonna come after people. And they're gonna come hard. They're gonna come hard, like knocking at your door, and it's gonna be so wild. But yeah, don't buy from centralized exchanges. For anybody that wants to debate, we can go toe to toe. Then my second one would be invest into and invest mainly into DeFi projects. Mainly, that would be my second do. And obviously, with due diligence, obviously finding that mentor, different things like that. As we said before, DeFi projects are probably going to be your best bets in terms of this space, and that have the safest returns and will yield, a long-term, return. And then you have here the last one is stop putting all your money in Bitcoin. That's my last one. My don't is like, your Bitcoin is crazy, is good, yeah, but like there's a whole lot of things about Bitcoin. But one of my phrases here is Bitcoin will not save you; it'll only rinse you. That's actually one of my my statements here. Like, everyone's just banking on Bitcoin. I would just say, just I'm not saying don't invest into Bitcoin. You should have your portfolio should have a good percentage of that blue chip. We call it like a blue chip crypto, but don't have everything inside Bitcoin, because it's very volatile. Believe it or not, there's a lot of market manipulation now. Like, just don't just look at Bitcoin. I mean, it's the most highlighted, and that's because it's the first one on scene. But like, just don't only look at Bitcoin. Don't only look at Ethereum. And I'd have private conversations with people about even the use case for Bitcoin. I ask people, what's the difference between Dogecoin and Bitcoin? I say, you let me know. I actually said this. Think about it, guys. Dean, you give me a difference between Bitcoin and Dogecoin right now. Intrinsic, we're talking about, not just a form of currency. You let me know. Go ahead.
There's not much of difference. Not much of difference.
There is.
That's why there's not much difference. That's why I know that eventually the Ethereum will flip it in market cap, because it's just inevitable. It does too much, and a lot of other coins too. But that's something else,
Thank you, Andre. And I also wanted to touch upon for the audience is, why didn't the Rothschilds that just literally came inside the market literally this year, why did they buy Bitcoin? Why did they only buy $5 to $10 million worth of Ethereum, not Bitcoin? The Rothschilds, we're talking about the people that actually run the money.
The world,
yeah. Run the money. We're talking about one of the families that are literally in control of like this whole matrix, this whole thing. Why didn't they buy Bitcoin?
Yeah.
And then you got to ask yourself, who actually traded Bitcoin? And people will say Satoshi Nakamoto, some Asian guy that, whatever. But go search up what Satoshi means in Japanese, and then Nakamoto. And what is...
And then recently, it's crazy. It's nuts. Recently, they're saying that whole moniker, the Satoshi Nakamoto, is really like 10 different companies as one. That's something else we can go into too.
Yo, bro, I even think it could go along the lines of the Central Intelligence Agency. Because why did the NSA, the National Securities Administrator or agency, in 2004 create the hashing function for Bitcoin? They created it. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trying to get all conspiracy theory, but I just have I talked to a lot of multi-billionaires in this space, and like, because we're obviously creating our own ICO right now, and we've been in, went to a lot of blockchain events and shook hands with some really, really crazy people. Like, it's just like, everyone kind of said the same thing. Like, they just had, ask yourself these questions. What is the difference between, everyone highlights Bitcoin, but like, what's the difference between Bitcoin and your Dogecoin, right? What would actually be the difference? And then, who's the creators of it, and why haven't they surfaced? And if they did surface, why are they not dead? Because you're actually going up against the whole system. And anybody that has in any type of game, and if you're Malcolm X, if you were Martin Luther King, if you were anybody
Bro.
of great importance that went up against a system of corruption, you either die. Why isn't this individual not dead?
Facts.
Like, because you're messing with the biggest. You're messing with the biggest thing.
The biggest
matters to
conglomerate
all of these guys is money.
in the world is money and power and control. And Bitcoin has slid under the radar, slid right into existence under their nose, and it's still going. And no one really is batting an eye, and no one. It's kind of weird. Definitely, right? Definitely, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if, it's owned by the 10 biggest corporations, and they're just playing with us, and they're just waiting until it flips gold in market cap and gets even higher and higher, and then they're just gonna pull it because we can.
Well, trust me, thank you. And then once everybody's money, Fed coin, the one universal currency. Thank you. All right, Andre's thinking. This is why we had this podcast here, because we actually have real thinkers on here, giving the real information. Thank you.
That's it.
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah,
it's not too far fetched that all of this can happen. It's not too far fetched at all.
I think it's actually probably even closer to the truth than a lie, actually.
Because
it is, one person that who is against all of humanity, and which we know this already, is Bill Gates. But then, if you remember back in 2017 or whatever, he actually made a comment saying Bitcoin will be the future currency. Anything that involves that man has to do with the destruction of humanity. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now, bro. Beyond me, I thought it was such a great product. It's something a little bit off topic, but if you actually look into the details of this Beyond Meat product, it's so synthetic. It's terrible. And Bill Gates is actually one of the main investors inside of Beyond. Then you look at Starbucks, Monsanto, which Monsanto and Bill Gates have ownership of Starbucks. And I'm not going to talk about all the fructose and all of those things.
The sucralose and all those things that's in it. Yeah.
Oh my God, inside the drinks, making people crazy, literally. Like, oh my God, there's so much I would go into, but like people actually call me conspiracy theorists and shit, but it's whatever. I think I'd rather be smart and educated than just unaware.
Then it's a mindless drone that's following the status quo. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So there's anything that involves that man, I just don't trust it in terms of in bettering humanity, because he never had that agenda for anybody, to be honest. So he did say back in 2017 Bitcoin would be the future, and then you have his best friend saying, his best greedy friend Warren Buffett saying Bitcoin will not be here, and then you have Charlie Munger. You have like this. It's just a whole play, bro. And
because you have a lot of them, and I bet you if you looked on. Still to this day, Warren Buffett says he's not investing in Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
He's invested in Bitcoin. I don't care what anybody says, privately, secretly, somewhere, to another entity or whatever it might be. He is 100% invested in Bitcoin. 100%. Why would he not be? Every single 100%. Major bank is slowly investing in something that they said they hate. So what's happening? Like we're seeing this whole tide shift towards Bitcoin. Why? Like there's a reason. We don't know it yet. Time will tell.
Correct.
But
and even JP Morgan only offering this Bitcoin into their high net worth individuals. Crazy, man. Let me show you. We'll talk about it. Anyone that wants to, we'll talk about it, and we'll really talk about it. So my Instagram is inside of this chat here for Dean to share that. It's obviously recording. I appreciate you.
I'll just spell it out for them, Justin, because it's gonna also be audio as well. So just spell out your Instagram handle.
So it's ITZJUSTINKYLE. So it's Justin Kyle. It's ITZJUSTINKYLE.
Nice.
So
nice.
Today was a great conversation. I hope a lot of people got some info that they're looking for about NFTs and cryptocurrency. And just want to let everybody know this is the Dope Podcast, where we display other people's experience, expertise, and enhance your knowledge. Don't forget to sign up to the Patreon group, where we have exclusive access to the Dope Podcast. So you'll get the episode before it launches, do's and don'ts, and discount on merch as well. Thank you, Justin, Kyle, for being here. Andre, for you also letting people know about your experience. And tune into the next episode, where we're going to have another dope guest. See ya.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, man. Take care.